Well, just to kind of start, this is something that's long overdue. We wanted to get together with the elders and just have a little discussion about your family history, our family history, and your memories growing up and anything you want to share with us. There's two ways to do this. One is like a question and answer session, and others is just called storytelling, where we just let you tell us what you want to tell us. But I think we may incorporate some of all of that in what we're doing today. So this is just, again, to record our history for preservation, for us, for future generations. And it's just important to document it in writing and on film when we can. So thank you. And if we can ask to just start with a prayer by the patriarch of our family, Reginald Pope, please.
Gracious God, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for this time. Thank you for the families gathering here and in Louisiana. Thank you for this idea. We pray that you would bless it, keep us in your keeping care. May this serve as a document for coming generations. We thank you for all you've done. We ask you to continue to bless the family wherever we may be. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you again all for your sacrifices. The key players in today's event are obviously the elders, Uncle Reg, Uncle Johnny, Uncle Don, Nora Lee, Mom, Aunt Myrtle, Auntie Juanita, Aunt Ree. So, I guess I'll start with just asking Uncle Reg, who I call Pop. So if you hear me call somebody Pop, that's who I'm talking to. How it is you'd like to see this go. Would you like to just start by telling us what you want us to know and what you want future generations to know, or would you like us to start by asking you some specific questions?
We probably would do better if you ask us some questions, and some you might not ought to ask, but...
Well, I probably should have started off camera saying, what's off limits? What should be done?
All right.
So if we ask something that you're not ready to talk about, maybe you could just say pass.
Yeah, that's the way. That's the way. Amen.
Ervin said it's probably going to be me asking the questions that nobody wants to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we have too much of that to worry about. So,
We were all of the seniors, we were born in the parish of Bienville, and that is a little parish in Louisiana made up of parishes instead of counties. And our county seat was in Arcadia, and we was in a little town called Ringgold. One red light, don't make a right turn on it. And that's where we grew up, migrated to different places. That's a little bit of history, 8 of us, and Oliver Pope and Willie Pope's family.
For the record, the locations where we all are participating from today, the Los Angeles crew is in the home of Reginald and Juanita Pope in Los Angeles. Uncle Don?
Yes?
You are joining us from where?
617.
Where are you? So did you state the city and the state that you're joining us from?
Minden, Louisiana.
Thank you, sir. And
Yes.
hey, Myrtle, where are you joining us from today?
From my home on the couch.
And what city and state are you in, ma'am?
Shreveport, Louisiana.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Shreveport, Louisiana.
Shreveport, Louisiana.
All right. MacArthur.
Cutting in and out. Can you hear me?
All right, can you hear me? She says, I can hear you.
We can hear you. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you want more from me?
Yeah, how about some money?
All right. Well, as far as direct questions, I don't know if we want to start with what memories you have of your grandparents or your parents, and and again, anybody can answer this, or everybody can answer it, because y'all will have different stories and different input to help us know our ancestors better. So let's start with Pop, Uncle Reg.
All right. Grandpa Charles. He was one of the, I think, 9 children that came from General and Jane Pope. Jane was an Iverson before she married the Pope, and he was one of the sons, and I think he had about 8 or 9 children, and one of them was Oliver Pope, who is the father of Ervin, Myrtle, and all the way down to Bishop and Nora. So that's a little bit on that side. Other side was Maggie Crawford, Kyle Crawford. On our mother's side, mother's name Williola Pope, or Williola Crawford. And from that family, I think there became 8 of us also. And I'll be the 3rd one. And that's kind of where the history starts. Okay, I said Verba was older than you, right? And what about her? What kind of person was she? Verba, yeah. All right. Okay. And what part of the singing did she do, and what part did you do? What voice and singing did she do, and what voice did you do? All right. Well, and I tried the tenor. Yeah. Yeah, Townsel too. He's a copycat. Yeah. What about Deke? What do you do, Deke?
It's like I did everything except bass.
Yeah, and a heck of a job, excuse my language, but a heck of a job you did, or you continue to do.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
Looking like Uncle Skeet.
Right. I'm still trying.
Yeah, and
Right.
John talking about you looking like Uncle Skeet.
I do like Uncle. All right.
That means you're good looking, buddy.
There's all the family.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then the next one in line, I guess, would be TP. Tell me a little bit about what y'all remember about TP, Townsel Alta Pope.
Okay. He was quite a character. At Townsel, he knew, I'll tell you one thing, he knew more music than you think he did.
Yeah, yeah.
He didn't broadcast it too much, but he knew it. And I don't know, he took a lot from us because he didn't, I want to say he didn't have the crowd that he wanted. But anyway, when we needed it, he could just about tell us. He'd pick up some of Elvin knows stuff and give it to us. Yeah.
Shape note music, okay.
Shape note music, yes.
Mm-hmm. That what you remember, Myrtle? Yeah. Yeah.
He stuttered when he talked.
Really?
Particularly when you get excited.
Don't reach across the table when he
Yeah. Yeah, that is him. Oh, I'm gonna tell on him now, cause when he come down there, you always give him about a dozen cans of preserves. He come back and tell me I'm gonna lend you one. And when I come down there and get me one, he want me to pay for it, you know. I give him some, but he want to lend me his. Oh, boy. So that went good. And then y'all can talk about me however you want to. I don't care. You talk about me, Don.
You're all right. All right.
Okay.
Looks like our parents told us. All right, it's coming up again.
Yeah.
You have to be careful with that.
Yeah. Myrtle?
I didn't know this was going to come up to see because I had a picture that I wanted to show.
Oh,
Picture of them on my
wow.
when I was growing up. Grandma did everything she could to get mom to keep me in spirits going to school. She sold eggs when I was 2. Make spirits for me, and she know I like sour beer. When the milk began to turn, and then sour beer, that's when they started calling me Myrtle sour beer.
Yeah. Yeah, we almost, it's just a little bit, we see the bottom of it, can't quite see the top, but we can kind of make it out. Yeah.
Can you see it now?
Oh,
yeah.
Uncle Dog.
That's Uncle Dog.
Yeah. That's the man that paid for my graduation grade when I finished school.
Oh, all right.
Wow. He had 2 boys, Alvin and Ray and Alford. And Ray is recuperating from a serious sickness in Kansas City. All right, then. You got TP, then I guess Cathy's supposed to be conducting this, but it looked like I done took over.
No. You go right ahead. I'm not an expert at this. I'm just gonna go with the flow. Whoever wants to say something or add something, everybody's welcome to participate. Encouraged to participate, in fact. So
Yeah.
don't just let us do all the talking.
Uncle Reg is 87. So I'm the uncle.
Mom?
I'm Nora. I'm 76 and born in the year of 1942, October 29th.
And I'm John L. And I'm 28, turn it around, 82. And I was born in Ringgold, Louisiana, just like you. So, 1936. And you see I'm wearing my Ringgold shirt. That means I'm proud of that big old city.
Auntie?
I'm Juanita. I wasn't born in this family, but I married into it. And I was born in 1933. So I happen to be 85 years old.
Ooh.
Young.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
But I was born in Ringgold also. And it's amazing, I didn't know the Popes when I lived in Ringgold. I met them here in California.
That is amazing. All right, Uncle Deke, your turn.
All right, back to me. All right. Well, the good Lord let me see the 20th of next month. I'll be 80 years old.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Glad about it. I'm
Yes,
glad
sir.
about it.
All right.
On March 20th, 1939, in that city y'all talking about, Ringgold. And it was a city on the go, but now it looks like it's a city on the grow a little bit. It's coming on pretty good. I go through there occasionally, and we don't have any relatives down there now. Kind of being now. Most of them are on down south. I'm going to say in River Parish.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 or 3 still in Ringgold, but that's still my home, and I still love it. And you need to see that beautiful church, that beautiful building at Mount Zion, is almost completed. And I'm wondering, Reg, if you could tell me, what do they do with the cornerstone of the old church when they build a new one?
They should also install it somewhere in the new one. It should be that way. Different churches operate differently, but that's where it should be, because that's history. And you was one of the deacons back there. You and Joe Taylor and all them guys.
Yes.
Yeah, that should happen. And by the way, they're selling bricks that you can put your name on the wall. A brick costs $100, and you can have your name on the wall. If you're still alive, you can put your name. If you got some deceased relative, you can put 2 names on a brick for $100 a piece. So you'll probably be hearing from them.
Okay, Mayor Ruth has contacted us concerning that, and we plan to participate.
All right. So I get with you, so we won't put the same names. I'll talk with you. I'm gonna put some up too.
What would either of you want us to know about your grandparents?
Grandma Nancy, tall, kind of had a little Indian in it, I believe. Had a snuff box, and very, very good cook. And she didn't believe in lazy folks. You go to her house, she's gonna find something for you to do.
Right.
Did you say Macy?
Nancy, Grandma Nancy.
Okay, Nancy. Okay.
She was a Glover before she married the Pope.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Then Grandpa Charles, he was one of those get-along kind of fellas. He had a little fun in him, and he also was an encourager. As a matter of fact, I came to California with him to stay one summer. It's been a long summer.
Grandpa Charles lived in California for a while?
He came out here seasonally
Okay.
to go down on the farms in Riverside and Paris and Lake View to harvest watermelons. And I came out that time to work with him down there. When the season was over, he went back, and I stayed and sent for my letter. Mom said, "Oh Lord, I guess he gonna stay out there now." So still here, but I come back there as often as I can.
How old were you when you came here?
Almost 18.
And when you say you sent for your letter?
Yeah, when you leave one church,
Oh.
you're supposed to, back in the day, you bring a letter from that church to the new church,
Okay.
saying that you were leaving everything right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to ask Nora, what is there anything you'd like us to remember or know about any of your grandparents?
Okay.
Or your parents?
Just like Uncle Reg said, Grandma Nancy, she always had something for you to do. And Grandma Mag, when we got out of the church, a lot of times we would go to visit one of them, and we always was those of us in would always like to go to Grandma Mag because she didn't have us to do so much. But it was learning how to do with Grandma Nancy was really good. That long, beautiful dress she would wear, and
Down to the ankle.
and she'd have you to go and get her a brush so she could chew the end of it for her with her snuff box. But she was one that when you got sick, especially my brother Bishop, with his epilepsy seizures, she'd get that Watkin white liniment and anoint his head because he was, those seizures really had him really sick. When he get those seizures, he would lose his memory for a short while. and she was there to rub his head many times with that white liniment. And my grandma Maggie, when I was with my mom we stayed with her for a while, and Mom was helping with Grandma Mag, and Grandma Mag was helping her too. So I, along with Uncle Skeet's 3 children, was there with Grandma Mag and Uncle Skeet, Ernest, Herman, and Mag Jane, which she helped to raise them, as their mother was deceased. So Grandma Mag, Mom was a big help to Grandma Mag most of the time that I can remember. But they were all great grannies.
And Grandpa Kyle Crawford, he traveled a lot. We didn't see him a whole lot, but he was always frugal, if you know what I mean.
Uncle John?
Yeah. There's Grandma Nancy and Grandpa Charles they were, how do I say, they were just nice people, and they made you do right, okay? If you mess up, you'd have to answer to them whether Mama and Dad was around or not. They put you in your place. And I tell you that Grandpa Charles, I was thinking about him and when he met Grandma Nancy. You see, because he saw something that, I don't know what he saw, but he couldn't see her physical being and he didn't see her legs because she always wore those long dresses down to her ankle. So he had to have some insight there somewhere. And it turned out wonderful because here we are, you know.
And if you check the record, most of our birth certificates have Nancy Pope as the what you call midwife. She was a midwife for most of us.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of that, you guys know James King from down in what's the St. Matthews area. He's out here now. We'd see each other quite often, and he was born on September 22, same month I was, in the same date. So we were talking one day, and he'd go like, Aunt Nancy delivered me. I go like, what? Yeah. He said, she delivered me. I said, she delivered me too. He says, uh-oh, I want to go back.
Uncle Deke, how about you? You have any special memories of your grandparents or your parents, either one?
Well, I'm going to Mama Willie. That's all right.
That's all right.
All right,
Oh.
All thing about it, we just hate it when the preacher came on Sunday.
Amen.
And we have to wait until they cleared the table. We
Yeah.
couldn't sit around. You know they always get the best part. So Mama, when she cooked for the family, she would make sure everybody was at the table and eating, had already eaten before she would eat.
Yep.
Now, I never could understand that, but it makes sense. She would make sure we were fed.
Mm-hmm.
And if you all hadn't got acquainted with her biscuits that she made, she could make some biscuits and it was so firm, pretty good size. We call them catty.
Yeah.
What you call them catty heads, what you call them catty heads. And it wasn't no waste, no throwing away stuff. You had biscuit left. Mama could make the best biscuit pudding you ever seen. You could make, I don't taste one like hers yet. And bread, leftover bread, make the leftovers, won't be thrown away.
That's right.
She made a bread pudding. I don't want to go too far. I thought to put a little of the Bible in, but we're not going to go that route. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. And I haven't tasted one like hers yet. There's something like Berber's, but lump sums like Berber's egg pie.
Mm.
I ain't found nobody that can really match it yet.
Yes.
Mm.
It come close. But that's Mama with it. And when the weather gets bad, you hear thunder, she get all by herself. That one thing she would say every time. You hear that thunder?
Mm-hmm.
She would say, "Come on, Jesus."
Yes, you.
Come on, Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, Jesus. And she say, well.
Yes.
I'm with you.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Hey, Myrtle, what you got for us?
Well, I went back there, right there about Grandma Nancy. She was strict too. She wanted you to do right. When she call your name, if it's Myrtle beer,
That's right.
we tell Grandma what we gonna do. She said, wait a minute now. Oh, wait a minute, said nothing happened. And that's one thing that really stuck with me. I don't mind saying if nothing happened. Because we never know.
Mm.
But she was alright with me. She was. Grandpa too. Yes, he was. Grandpa would get up to lead those songs. Or try to go to YouTube using his proper English. Take Reggie to tell you about that. Yeah, but I don't have any regrets of any of them at all. Like Don was saying about Mom. When she cooks, she gonna make sure everybody eat the food she does. And when you get ready to leave, she gonna want you to leave with something, but ain't nothing but an egg. She would give you that egg, tell you, here, make you some cornbread. She always want you to leave with something.
Yeah.
Buttermilk.
That was Mom.
Some churned buttermilk and butter.
Can anybody else tell us something else about Uncle Bishop? That's the one uncle that the children didn't have any personal experience or memories of. Maybe Charlotte, even though maybe she doesn't have memory of him, although I think she was around for a while before he passed away. But what else can somebody tell us about Uncle Bishop?
Yes. St. John.
When he started having those spells, Lord, I was scared to death. I couldn't stay there. Yeah, it was all right.
And Bishop.
You have any pictures of it?
We do. I think there's two that we're very familiar with. Not too many, but I think all of us have seen two pictures of them for sure. And actually, I just got a third one that I from my mom that I believe came from Uncle Tansel's collection. Uncle Townsel had quite a collection of photos, especially of the elders or the old pictures of people that we had never had the opportunity to meet or know. And yeah, it was a real blessing to see the rest of his photo collection, after he passed away, and it was passed on to us. So yeah.
Yeah, we have a photo frame of him.
Yeah.
Also, a bishop, he had a bone feather thumb, something on his finger that was it caused him not to make one of his grades in school. So he and I were both in the same classes coming up in school. And during the time that he was in school, he was one of the Boy Scouts, and Mr. T.J. Simmons was his master. And he worked in the cafeteria there with Miss Picola Jordan. He had somewhat like a little job, really, but he, had little income working in the cafeteria there at Ringgold. And trying to think of the others. Oh, yes, he was an usher at St. Mary after he moved his membership to St. Mary. And Mr. May, Sam T. May, was an instructor with the a trade school there. And he was in that class for a while. And he was a favorite. R.T. Iverson was one of his favorite men after my father passed away there in Ringgold. So my brother having those seizures, in school he would have those seizures and he would fall asleep after you have those seizures. And I remember Mr. Cal Robinson was our instructor at one time. He was really good with teaching us in our math subject. And Bishop had one of those seizures and he fell asleep after he had the seizure. And Mr. Robinson, I guess he didn't, in fact, I know he didn't know that Bishop had his head down on the table and had fallen asleep. And Mr. Robinson whammed down a hard lick on Bishop's back while he was asleep. And that just broke my heart to see him get that whip from Mr. Robinson. But during those seizures, he really was a person that you had to just love him and know that those things had a lot to do with his mentality. He wasn't a studious person, but he tried. And I do know that my mom took a lot of time to help him. He couldn't read well, but he didn't mind going to ask Mama to help him read. And he would ask me too, but I had this snobbish attitude, and it wasn't the right kind of attitude to have toward my brother. But he was a sweet person, and he really he admired Charlotte, as she was left there for a year or two after I came out here. And he loved my baby Charlotte. And as I see Nita now, his daughter, as I talk to her, she is a person that I have just talked to her about her dad, just a little. She doesn't remember too much, but yeah, that's Bishop, my brother Bishop.
And let me tell you, he did have an attitude too. I'm gonna tell you, he was a good guy, but man, he could get on your nerve. I'm telling you. And he wouldn't listen to nobody but Mama. Bishop, what? You know you got to do this? Oh, I'll do it when I get ready. So we had it one time. I never forget. Mom asked him something, and he got bully at Mama. And he started, he wasn't cursing, but he was like, I go, hey, don't you talk to my mama like that. And he turned around and, you shut up. And boy, I started at him. He picked up a stick and started swinging. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Mama said, Janelle, leave him alone. I go like, no, Mama, I'm going to teach him a lesson. Janelle, leave him alone. I said, boy, you put that stick down. I'm going to get you one of these days. So, but after that, you know, he was just cool. He was a good guy. But he did have a temper and an attitude. And when he loses his cool, you better go someplace. Get out of his sight. Because he would come at you. But other than that, he was a good guy. Absolutely.
Hey, Nora,
Yeah.
you left something out concerning Bishop.
What's that?
Okay. Every now and then you pretend you have a procedure. You told you have you running, remember? I mean, you pretended he'd have a procedure and come from right towards you and have you running.
I would.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh boy,
Yeah.
that's right.
I'm scared.
Bishop also was a good handyman.
Mm-hmm.
If he could fix it, he'd tear it up.
Tear it up.
Most of the time he would fix it. You take a butane heater, go in there and take the guts out, change the jets in it, and make it a gas.
Oh,
Make a regular gas heater.
no kidding.
You can drop the electric on and tear it up. You can put it back together. And he was a pretty good handyman.
He was.
Awesome.
I had, I guess one thing I wrestled with, Bishop had told me that somebody was after him and send for him and bring him out here to California. And I said, I don't go for all that superstitious stuff. And I didn't do it. And then he fooled around and decided to go fishing by himself. And he ended up getting drowned. And I had to deal with that. But the Lord gave me relief. Gave me relief.
Wow.
Mark, got a question?
I have a request. Will all the elders please give us one characteristic that you'd like to pass on down to the family that you'd like for us to emphasize on? If you want to be, how important it is to be like honest or to be responsible, something that you feel would be important for the family to hold on to that you would want to pass down.
Who's first?
Well, if you have an answer, you can
I'll
go first.
start.
Okay.
I just say family and faith. family and faith.
Well, I'll tell you what. I've been thinking about, I think Cathy had mentioned that if you'd like to say something about somebody that had an impression on you that could, you could pass down. And I thought about a lot of people. I thought about, first of all, I thought about the Obamas. I mean, those guys are right up there. Both the man and the wife and the husband. And I thought about a lot of other people. And I thought, there's nobody that I can put
Is that okay?
Well,
in this.
Take your time.
Take your time.
John finished?
I can put nobody in the same category as my mama. And because when her daddy passed, there was 5 of us. And she single-handedly raised us. And then after graduating high school, Principal Washington came down. Well, let me get ahead of myself. She and her brother, Uncle Wavy, with us helping a little bit, built a brand new house for us. Townsel had left then, and it was the 4 of us. And we moved down by Ringgold in this brand new house. And then I graduated high school. And Mr. Professor Tracy Washington came down to our house. And he says, "John, you're going to college." And I go like, "What?" He said, "You're going to college. I made preparations for you. The dean is going to be in town and you're going to go to Southern University." And I go like, "Oh, wait a minute." And I looked at Mom and she had this just smile on her face like you wouldn't believe. So I went to Southern University. I made it to the sophomore year, and then I told the dean, "I'm going home." And he goes, "Why?" I says, "I'm working. I have to work my way through school. And my reading skills aren't up to par, and I can't keep up." And he says, "Well, let me tell you, Pope, college is not for everybody." And I took that like, I got it. I'm out of here. So I go home for spring break, and it was time to go back, and I told Mom, I said, "Mom, I'm not going back to college." And she goes like, "What?" I said, "I'm not going back. The dean said that college is not for everybody." She says, "John, I wish you'd go back." And I go like, "I'll think about it." But I never went back. So make some long story short, I went to Kansas City State for a year. And I came home for Christmas. Reg and Lennon was there. And Reg asked me, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" I says, I'm up there with Ray Crawford in Kansas City." He said, "Well, as long as you're going to be away from home, you might well come on and go back with us." I go like, "Hey, going to the big city." So I came to California. Yet and still that little voice in my head. So I got a job, and then I was inducted into the Army in 1960. So I go to the Army, I go to Germany, and that little voice is still in the back of my head. "I wish you'd go back." That's all I could hear. So I get out of the Army, I come back and went to church one day, and there's this deacon called Themis. His name was Themis Daniels. He was a head custodian at this new university out in Fullerton. So he was looking for some workers, and Joreen heard him, and she go like, "John needs a job. John needs a job." So I went and talked to him. He hired me on the spot. And then as I was working at the university, this voice was still in the back of my head. I wish you would go back. And after a while, I realized that being at the university, I could go to school tuition free. All I had to do was buy my books because I worked at the university. I could go to the university and I could take one class a day and get paid for it because the university would allow employees to take one class a day. And then I took evening classes. And then I worked. I left the custodial department, went to the shipping receiving department. Then I landed a job in the chemistry department. Then I realized, hey, I'm in the middle of this, so why not go to school? That little voice was still in the back of my head. I wish you'd go back. So I signed up, went to school. And I got my, I got to my sophomore year there, and I had this job in chemistry that was in electronics, and I was always interested in electronics, so I went to the Fullerton College instead of Cal State Fullerton. I dropped out and went to Fullerton College, and I studied instrument troubleshooting and design and fabrication, and I got me a degree in that. So I came back, and I could hear this voice says, "Good boy, good boy." But here's the kicker. In the electronics shop that I was working in, the restroom was just around the corner, about 10 steps. So I went out one day out of the electronics shop to go to the restroom, and there was a little bitty piece of paper about the size of maybe a $50, just laying on the ground, and I just looked at it and kept walking. I walked in the restroom and I came back and the piece of paper was still there. So I got, I'll just pick it up and throw it in the trash. So I picked it up and I opened it up, and I had, it just shocked me. I'm going like, "Mama, is that you?" The note said in small print, "One must learn by doing the thing. Though you think you know, you have no certainty until you try." And underneath it, in little small writing, it said Pope. And I'm going like, "Is that you?" And I'm done. But anyways, I thank Mom for insisting that I go back. And I encourage anyone, if you have a chance, and if you haven't done it, thank you. Go back, go to school, and get good education, because had I not had that piece of paper, I would have been kicked out of the chemistry department. Mm-hmm. Because there was the state had a short budget that year, and they were going to start bumping people. Well, now I'm electronic tech 3, electromechanical, but I'm the low end on the totem pole, and they were going to bump me out. And so the principal came to me and said, not the principal, the chairman. He says, "John, you're going to be bumped." I go, "Why?" He said, "Because the guy that's going to replace you have a degree." I says, "Oh?" And he says, "And you don't." I says who? He go like, well, do you? I say, yeah, I have a degree and I have certificates to show that I am where I am because I deserve it. So he says, get me a package. So I gave him the package, gave him all of my degree. I gave him some certificates that I went to Sergeant Wells, Mettler Balance, Beckman Instruments. I had all of that. Gave it to him. And then the professor started to support me. Said, John is seasoned here. He knows all the equipment, so we need to keep him. And I kept that job. And Mama did it for me. Because I had went and got that piece of paper that she said, I wish you'd go back. And I went back. And I thank God for her. And whew, that's it. That's it.
Uncle Deke, if you remember the question, you have a response?
I have
Speak louder.
this that I
Louder.
okay. I was just hoping that my family, all of us, could continue to be there one for another in prayer and love. And as Don was saying, I don't know if I've said it to the family or not, but like I said, every day that we are at church, we see something that has been something that is like the Bible classes, the Sunday school, the sermons that's being preached. And I said my brother is getting all these messages out to us, but are we receiving them and applying them to our lives? Because I don't think it's gonna be nobody else that's gonna have us under their wings like he has. And I just wanted to take that under consideration, that we be more thoughtful and prayerful one to the other, because he is doing a job that I know it takes only God to have given it to him. And he's been so patient with me and my little family. And we were just grateful to him and his wife. She goes along with a lot of the things that she doesn't have to with him. And let's be more prayerful and just don't take for granted, but just appreciate all of that he's trying to instill in us.
Thank you, Nora.
Well, I can say, I guess, ditto to what everyone has said, but the important thing is for us to always put Christ first. And if you really make him the head of your life, everything else will fall in place.
Mm-hmm.
So just make sure that you know him in a real personal way. And if you do, everything will be all right. You know, you may not end up a millionaire, but that's okay. You can be content with what you have, and God will supply your needs. So just make sure that you know him and put him first. And everything else will be all right.
Amen on that one.
Avery,
Yes.
did you want to answer that question about passing on a characteristic down to future generations?
If I were to leave a single thing, I would say treat every day like it's a birthday. Because tomorrow is not promised.
That's right.
To just think of that in that respect, because tomorrow is not promised to us. So we're going to treat every day and live to its
All right.
We're still trying to get Aunt Myrtle back online, so that leaves Uncle Reg for now.
Well, the Bible is right when it says love covers a multitude of faults. And I said most of us have a multitude of faults. But love, the Al Green, keeps us together. Something like that. And we have to learn that because there's only been one perfect person that walked the face of the earth, and that's Jesus Christ. But he is our model, and he's who we should strive to be like. But this love that he's talking about is a unselfish love. It's a love that goes out to those who might not be so lovable. And it starts with the person that I'm talking about, myself, all of us. But that makes a big difference. I believe Myrtle is back. Is Myrtle back?
Can you hear us, Aunt Myrtle?
I sure can.
Okay, so we're back to you with the same question.
Tell her what it is.
Well, when I finished high school, Mom and Dad tried to get me to go to college, but I told them I just didn't want to go, and they really didn't want me to go. And but after years, I realized I should have gone, and I wish many times I had. But when my children went through school, they all graduated, but none went to college but Robert. He went, and he went as long as he could, and he worked and put his own self through school. I didn't have to give him a dime while he was in school. And he worked his way up to where he is now. And I tell all of them, that they should have an education. And the main thing that I told them is kind of like the last year we went to school. This was our saying in school. It says, while sliding down the ladder of life, I hope the splinters of success will stick all over you.
You clean it up. You clean it up.
What you say, Red?
I say you clean it up. Very good.
One more degree that he said he wanted, but he said, I will not put myself through that again. I said, well, I think you've done it. 3 of them have finished on their jobs until they retire. So I think he's looking for his next 6 years and he's coming out. So I just thank God for all of them that lead for the success we have done and what they're continuing to do.
Who was that you're talking about? Which one was you talking about? Who were you talking about just then?
I said all the champions have,
All right.
finished on the Deborah, Joanne, and Auntie.
Yeah.
But he didn't finish. He finished high school, graduated, but he didn't do anything either after that. But Deborah and Joanne have retired. And Robert trying to get in his next 5 years. I think he said it was 5, and he coming out. But I just thank God they all have done as well as they have.
Yeah.
Well as they have.
Yeah.
All of them were able to take care of themselves after their dad passed.
Yeah.
That was one burden I didn't have to do by myself, but they all was on their own.
Like Bush said at Katrina. I said, like Bush said at Katrina, you're doing a heck of a job.
I hope I can.
Anybody else have questions? No? Okay, well.
I guess when you talk about the education, Myrtle had a shot at it, Verba had a shot at it. I got out, all set to go to Grambling, and they said, boy, so I'm still a boy. You're lucky I got you this far. And I was kind of boo-hooing and crying because I didn't think it was fair. But then later on, I think he already knew that he was battling cancer. He said, I got you this far. You got to try to make it on your own. And that's what I tried to do. Think of him often in that area.
I had a little start off in the nursing at the hospital there in Minden. It turned out I didn't get to finish that. An incident happened and I was sent home, but that's where I started in the nursing school. And from there, I just, after I then came out here and kind of started, I had, my first job was with Uncle Reg, had given me the opportunity to work in where he was working at the Field Socket Manufactory as a packer. But through furthering my education, that's as far as I had gone. But God has seen me through all of these time, and I think the children are doing. They're doing a good job at keeping their lives not being dependent totally. But that's how it happened with my education, and I'm so grateful.
Same thing Bush says. Said to you too.
There you go. And that lady there, Myrtle, was one of the ones that helped buy my uniforms and everything to get my started off, and I was Miss Ann in a way.
She said you still Miss Ann. Who in our family were you the closest to growing up, outside of your own siblings, like cousins or uncles or aunts? Who were you closest to, or who do you have fond memories of growing up with them, living near them, or just hanging out with them or their family or whatever?
I don't know, as I look back, Cousin Charles, as though I didn't recognize it at the time, he helped me a whole lot. I was down in Louisiana. He bought me a tricycle. I came to California. He bought a car, turned it over to me to keep the notes up. And it's an old 40 Ford. And I didn't realize as much until his last days when he come talking to me quite a bit. How much it meant to him, how much I meant to him. And the same thing happened with East Alford, You never know until the last days they come and tell you some of these things. And of course, nobody touches Juanita. Yep, she has helped this old boy a whole lot. And I gave her Valentine's on Valentine's Day, but it's not just a Valentine's Day, it's an everyday thing. Love me some Juanita.
I have 3. It goes Lucius Pope, Yvonne Stafford, and Ray Crawford. Especially Yvonne and Ray, because when I left dropped out of college and went to Kansas City, I lived with Ray, and Ebon was right around the corner. And we used to hang out together. And there's a lot of fun memories on that. And just to give you one, for instance, we were out in Kansas City, we were out one night, and we were coming home, and it was snowing. And Ray was driving in his car, switched around and hit another car. And we looked around and nobody was there. So we got in the car and took off and went home. And then we got up the next day, there was a guy knocking on the door. Bam, 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 you hit my car last night. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. And then Lucius, when we were in Ringgold, we used to hang out together. And those guys that we just had a lot of fun together. A lot of memories.
Somebody.
In addition to those, to Charles, I could name a whole lot of folks, like Taretha. She was a Hughes. She married a Allums. I stayed with them for a short while when I was out here. And it really influenced me quite a bit. And then Aunt Mary Jane, sorry about that, Deke. I claim her too. Two mama. She helped me, her and Uncle Bill helped me after I lost my first money by trusting somebody else. She helped me set up a saving account and a banking account in 1949. Saving account's been gone since 1949. But I still have the same checking account.
Wow.
And that's been a few years. But she helped me so much in that area. I can name a lot of people, those two just come to mind right now.
You think of anyone, Mom?
Got many. Coming up to the time I was at Paradise, and I could, like I said, a lot of them. The women there that was what were they? The big sisters at Paradise, and my sister-in-laws. Yeah.
What about Myra?
And I'm kidding. And the times that during the time that during my child bearing, they came. My nieces came out to be with me. That was Myra and Joanne came out, and was such a big help to me. But it's just a lot of help. I can't even start to remember all of them, but in-laws. I think two mama had. I believe that when Grandpa Charles and Grandma Nancy separated, I think two mama and Uncle Bill had Grandpa Charles before he had his stroke and passed away. Two mama just stepped in the family, and so many about our lifetime.
That's one.
All right. Well, what was your childhood like growing up as children? What type of games did you play? What type of chores did you have? How was school?
Games. Swing and get a rope and play pop the whip. And marbles. The ladies more this hopscotch stuff.
Speak louder, Uncle Rich, so Aunt Myrtle can hear you.
Okay, I said, Myrtle probably remember swinging on the rope and playing the pop the whip and Yeah, yeah. I say you ladies more or less did the hopscotch stuff, but did a little basketball and swim a little. Didn't get too good at it, but I could do a little bit of swimming. Uncle Skeet taught us in that old pond down there. At that time, Grandma Mag was living on one side of the pond, Uncle Doyle on the other side, Uncle G on the other side, and we on the other side, just surrounded that pond. But we grew up together right down there where the road separates going to Castor and to Jamestown, right down on that Jamestown side. That's when all of the families kind of lived close together there on Grandma's side, Grandma Mag's side. And so we had a lot of fun. Ray got a bicycle and I always wanted one, never did own one, even up until now. But I got some 4-wheel thing, but no 2 wheels. And Ray left me a message the other day. He'd been pretty sick, but he still remember he and I were baptized and joined Mount Zion at the same time. He called me his twin. So keep Ray in your prayers.
All right. Chores? Anybody want to talk about your chores as a child? Or?
Well, I had to help a little of all of the things. I was feeding the chickens, the cows, a little bit of all of it. Getting in the stove wood after the boys chopped them up, milking the cow, helping with the washing. Mom had a few people that would bring their laundries for her to do at her house that help with the finances there, and I would help her with that. In fact, the little playing that wasn't nobody but me as the girl at home. I played shooting with the boys, but shooting marbles, hollering stand, any goes. Playing and shooting marbles, but I most of my memories with the playing was we were with Mac Jane, our first cousin. She and I were really more. I just spent more time with Mac, and that's at the school. After school, sometime the teacher would keep me and some of the other girls in music. Well, that's the frog, ain't Reed. So that's where most of my time was spent. Like,
yeah, after Townsel left home, there was just the 4 of us, me, Don, Bishop, and Nora. And I'm the oldest, and I never realized that I was kind of like the head of the house because I'm the oldest. So I did a lot of the plowing. We had a garden. Remember that buckskin palomino I was telling you about? He was good for multiple things, like plowing and riding, and just I did a lot of that. And I also helped milk the cows and feed the hogs and the chickens, drawing water, starting fire underneath the old cast iron pot to wash clothes and stuff like that. And we were, kind of like so filthy, we'd have to get a stick and wet our jeans up and put them on a rock or something and beat them. And just beat them, get that dirt out of them. And it was a lot of fun growing up. And, I think about it when we were down on the pond places, we called it. I had a couple of incidents, and Reg probably don't even remember this one. We were down at the pond one day, and Reg was talking to, I think he was talking to Ray, and we were all out there paddly putting in the pond, and there was a stump out about maybe 15 feet out in the water. So I paddled out to the little stump, and I turned around, paddled back, and I couldn't make it. So I went under, and I come up out of bruh, go back down, bruh, and he just reached down and grabbed my hand and pulled me out. And I'm going like, I gotta learn how to swim. So I paid attention to how them white boys were swimming. You know, they do the butterfly like, and we doing the dog paddle. So I said, I got to learn how to do it. So I didn't do it until I went to the Army, and then they made me jump off a diving board into a 10-foot water. Now I got to swim. So I got over that fear. And I was playing with Ernest and Herman across the street from us, and we were climbing trees. And I got way up there, and I looked down and go like, hey, you guys, look at me. And Ernest shook the tree, and the limb broke. Fell splat on my back. And I would go home, and I just lay down on the porch, and going like, oh, I'm hurting. And so we just had a lot of fun growing up. It was just great. And plus, we all just got along. Because I can't remember any of us getting in a fight. It was just like a good family all together.
I know that one, or some of you, if not all of you, actually have some experience picking cotton. What can you tell us about that?
Oh!
It's not a pleasant memory, but it was a chore, a job, or I don't know. How did that come about?
You want to stick the heart in somebody? Stick a knife in my heart.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was part of it, and strive to get 100 pounds, and I think maybe once or twice I might have got that much, but you'd always go for the cotton, and then the bug, this thing on it would stick the back of your finger, and that's what slowed me down. But it was a job. It was a job, and of course we're not sure the skills was always right. They could have these skills, you come in and weigh, and looked like you had much more than that skill would say, but you didn't have no choice at that time. But we did it for a few seasons,
and this was to help the family finances?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And you were children? You did this as children?
Oh yeah. Yep. Everybody did something. Everybody.
And you had no choice.
Wow.
And you get up at sunrise and come home at sunset.
Candy cane.
They
call it candy cane.
Candy cane.
C-T-K-C.
Yeah.
Ervin's not here to speak for herself, but she had a truck that she would take workers to the field in the morning, come back and pick them up in the evening. Yeah. Out of Castor. Her and Roy.
You guys grew up in the South in a time where segregation was still the law of the land, and in school and everywhere else, and lynchings were still actively going on. What can you tell us about your experiences growing up in the segregated South, and how you rose above that, and how you persevered and overcame that type of environment growing up?
Well, I never felt inferior, and I never felt afraid. And I think that's why the Lord got me out of that at the age of 17. I would talk back, and I was selling newspaper. And the old, supposed to be the mule man, we call him, the mean man of town. Come here, boy, give me one of them newspapers before they be reading. And I think he's trying to see what I was putting out in the propaganda, but he never did bother. I wasn't afraid, but after you get away and look back, you said, man, had not been for the Lord. And I still had some of it in me when I came to California. So I said, I'm going back home, and I ain't gonna say yes sir to them white folks. I go into the store. He said, can I help you, boy? I said, got some Noxzema? He said, Noxzema? I said, Noxzema. Large or small? Small. Small? Small. Anything else? That's it. He finally found out he couldn't catch me. So when I paid him, he said, thank you, boy. He had to get me somewhere. But I was determined not to say yes, sir. And I was a little up at that time. They framed up the questions to you to find out where you were, and I was aware of that. And but now, a whole lot of difference down there now in that area. Places where you used to go and they would be behind the counter and be selling. They got some of us doing it now. And those that are there will still say to you now, sir and ma'am. And I know a lot of stuff is still under the cover, under the heart, under the skin, but they've come a long way in that area. Long way. And again, I'm thanking the Lord for bringing me out at the time He did, because of the attitude that I had. Just as good as anybody else.
And isn't that something that was considered an attitude?
Scotty Woodard had put the high side planks on the wagon, fill it up, and then fill it up above the side planks, and told me to get up on top of it to hold it down. So I get up there, and he's getting ready to go across this ditch, and I see what's about to happen. I jump off, and the wagon turns over. Oh. He comes there digging in the cotton trying to find me, and I'm standing back there on the back. Oh boy! Yeah.
You all didn't grow up with all the gadgets we have today: TVs, laptops, tablets, cell phones. So what was your home life like? What did you guys do? Well, I guess school and chores probably took up the most of the day, huh? But what did you all do as a family that was sort of like recreational, or did you? So we have all these other things that occupy us at home these days, but what type of things did you all do in the home that was like a family oriented thing while you were in the house?
Sing.
And listen to the radio.
Feel cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we were not supposed to be listening to the blues now. And when Dad would be coming, we'd cut off the blues. So one Woody Herman played Blue Flame.
Is that a blues song?
It's an instrumental.
Oh.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah.
So they was playing that one time. We saw Daddy coming. We rushed to turn it off. He said, "Hey, let that one stay on." Woody Herman, Blue Flame. That's still a good song.
I'm gonna have to pull that one up. That sounds all right.
Yeah, you probably can pull that one up.
When you listen to the radio at home, what were you listening to?
We had
Country music. Basically country music.
Yeah.
Country music?
Hannah McDaniel. What was the name of that?
Beulah?
Yeah, Beulah. And
Beulah?
And I think Amos and Andy.
Huh.
And
in the
Inner
daytime.
Sanctum.
Inner Sanctum.
Are these like soap operas?
Yeah,
Program? Okay.
In the daytime would be like All Gal Sunday, Helen Trent,
Those are soap operas.
Days of Our Lives. Was that back there then? But yeah, they had those ongoing things like
Our
that.
Gal Sunday.
All right. Well, everybody here has had very successful long-term marriages. So, congratulations and thank you for your example to all of us. And what would be some of your advice for maintaining a successful marriage?
Where's Juanita?
Get you one of them, huh? That's it.
Yeah, if you go on like that. Yeah, but adjustment is one of the things. In the love and adjustments, you got to do some adjusting.
Yes.
One other thing is to realize that your spouse is not you. They have a different, total different attitude, have their own mind, and they can think for themselves, and don't you try to change that person. And don't let that person try to change you. Just be yourself, but get along. As Rodney King would say. And we all just get along. And you'll have success, I believe.
Much prayer.
Uncle Howard came and do the first revival at Bethel. Still remember his sermon when he wanted to put Saul's uniform on David. He said, "Be yourself." Be yourself. You can't fill up somebody else's uniform. Just be yourself. And of course, you know how David, when I took out Goliath with his own little slingshot. So can't nobody beat you being yourself.
Uncle Deacon Aunt Reed, marriage advice, successful marriage advice.
Yep. Don't take each other for granted.
All right.
Okay.
It's for me.
Hey Myrtle, marriage advice. What's your advice for a successful marriage?
Give and take.
Give and take.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and we lost you when you were responding to the last question. Do you remember what you were talking about?
Yes, I was talking about the Sundays when you're going to have company. You want to cook a big dinner.
Yes, ma'am.
Sometime we eat all the elderly people eat first. We have to go out to the Chinaberry tree and break up a limb to fan flies while they
And that was punishment.
Yes, it was. I'm telling you. Oh, they taking the last thing. They taking the last thing.
Going like this and going out.
Yeah. And here you are.
Oh boy, I didn't. I hated preachers for a long time. They coming over here again, Mama? Oh, have mercy.
That's the way some of them got paid. Y'all didn't have no money. You give them a few ears of corn and some peas and stuff like that and feed them. That was in that day. One preacher was telling the young preacher, "Oh man, when I came up, I'd take my car out there. When I come out, I just leave it unlocked. And when I come out, they done put some corn, some beans, and some peas in my car. And that's where I got paid." So the young preacher decided he'd try. Came out and left his car unlocked. When he come out, his car was gone. Times are changing.
Yeah, they come over and be eating up the food and going on, and I'm going like, "Mama, why can't you give them a chicken and let them take it home and cook it themselves?" Come over and eat up all our food.
Yeah.
All right. Other than what you've already told us about, oh, I'm sorry. Was she saying something?
What you say, Mert?
I just said, Mama know what she was doing, though she ain't up there for us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Every time, huh? Aside from what you already told us about some of the elders, who is the oldest relative you remember, and what do you remember about him or her?
Wow, wow.
I don't know if it wasn't Uncle Howard.
Yeah, I believe Uncle Jay outlived him, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Or did?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did.
And one thing about him, he always had some fun. He always jolly.
Was that Uncle Howard?
Uncle Jay.
Uncle Jay. Okay.
Yeah.
Uncle Hugh was one that was always jolly too.
Yeah. I think Dad died in the 60s or was it the 50s? 50s.
53.
Yeah. When I went to preach for Uncle Hugh in about 1973, the church gave me a little offering. And he got it home and said, "Come here, boy. They didn't give you enough money. I'm going to give you this. Your daddy told me to take care of you." I said, "Okay, now, that's Daddy died in the 50s. This is the 70s. Where you been?" Oh, boy. He was quite a guy.
Awesome.
53. He died 3 weeks before he lost his faith.
Huh?
He passed 3 weeks after he lost his faith.
You mean in
He was born in February in 53, and he passed in March.
March 13th.
Oh, I got you.
Yes.
I got you.
What did I say?
I don't think you said,
Yeah, she had it backwards.
We were born in 53.
yeah,
She
we
said-
got you. Yep.
Just to end this particular session, is there anything we have not talked about today that you'd like to discuss before we leave today? Discuss or make a statement, ask a question, or anything we want to get on the record today before we break up?
I would love to say on the 10th of January is when I had surgery on my leg, on my knee, and the Lord has brought me through a lot of things, but I thank Him for all of it. It's a good experience, and I was able to come home yesterday, and I'm still thanking Him. Thanking Him for my pains, and I thank Him for the days I didn't have any pain. So I just hope y'all keep me in prayer that I continue to heal.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So the Lord answers an email.
Uncle Deacon ain't read any parting words?
I'd like to commend you for what you have done and what you are doing. The entire thing, the idea, the letter which you have been, it's commendable.
Oh, thank you. God be praised.
Amen.
And next time we do it, we'll have a better idea of what we're doing. So this was our trial run, and it turned out okay in the end. So thank you for your patience. I really, really appreciate it. And next time we'll have experience. So
Maybe in September when their birthday celebration, so we can plan one on that end too.
whose birthday celebration in September?
Uncle Don's,
But 3 of them.
Aunt,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Aunt Myrtle's and
Okay, I hadn't previously been aware that we were celebrating birthdays in Louisiana this year in September. So Ervin suggested that when we're down there, that we may want to be able to do this again. And wouldn't that be lovely?
Read September.
Oh, do we have a date planned yet for the celebration?
It's the weekend after the third Sunday.
Okay, Uncle Ray says the weekend after the third Sunday. Okay, so we'll plan ahead and maybe we can all get together before we go our separate ways and do another session. Okay. All right. Did you have anything you wanted to say, Uncle Dick? Anything else?
No, everything everything good.
Okay. All right. And Juanita? No?
Yeah.
Okay. Uncle Johnny?
Myrtle,
Yes?
I'm so glad to see you up and about. And you see that I'm looking at one and he's on the right side. But anyways, when that knee get well, I want you to no? Oh, okay, forget it. Glad to see you up and about, Myrtle.
Mom?
No, just good to see you all up and doing good. Thank the good Lord.
Thank you, baby sis.
Yes, ma'am.
We're happy to host it on this end at our residence here with Juanita and I, and we thank you for participating, and whatever we can do to keep it going, you can count on us. But in the meantime, stay careful and prayerful.
All right.
All right. And I neglected to thank you for hosting it. Thank you so very much. It means a lot. Means a lot.
All right.
Okay, and with that, we are adjourned. Love you all. God bless you. Hope to see you and talk to you again very soon. And this will be we're recording this, so once we get it edited and put on some type of media or what have you, everybody will have an opportunity to get a copy of it. So it's not just for me, it's for all of us.
Okay, good job. Good job.
All right.
You can show it to your great grandchildren.
Yes.
Keep an eye on Ervin. Now, don't let him have nothing to
All right. Thank you, Quinton and Ashley. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Bye, everybody. Love y'all.
Love you.